Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns news skates. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Enjoying Orange Slices. Hi guys, how are you?
I'm good. Sharples can't talk. He's eating.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just
hey,
having a
You guys want to get
multi-grain
together,
chip.
eat some chips? You guys got to
Have some chips.
He's like, this is what happened 20 seconds before you hit record. Let's get going. Let's start this. As you hit record, he throws in 5 chips and 2 orange slices into his mouth, and now he can't talk. And it's like the Cookie Monster on his
Well,
computer.
what did I always say to you guys? As soon as you do both have a microphone in your hand, you won't shut up. And so I'm like, I got at least a couple of minutes where you sit there and try and figure out how to carve me, have some chips, get some sustenance in my body, so
Don't
I can
make it sound
can
like you
fight
planned
back.
that.
I feel like with your 7 o'clock shadow, you've been out fishing for a while. You got quite the hairy face going on. Were you in Alaska or something?
Hey, yeah, how about that? You know, the reason we wanted to get started, and I'm happy to talk about that, but one of us was at a ribbon cutting ceremony today, which evidently it didn't go off as planned, so they had to cut the ribbon twice. So I thought we were going to go there.
It was pretty exciting. It was pretty exciting. We got new garbage cans at the end of the driveway today, so we ribbon cut them.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got 2 new garbage cans. The other ones used just to leak garbage juice all over the place, right? And finally people complained, and then the government sent down 2 new garbage cans and said, keep your juice inside the cans.
You
So
guys share your garbage cans?
Well, it's actually for one building, but the rest of us use it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah, we like to break the law. We're like, hey, better put some batteries and stuff inside that.
Yeah. Throw out the good stuff. If
Tell
you're
us
gonna
about-
have at
Still
least-
eating?
Tell us about a real ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
What happened? So they just decided to open a restaurant at the airport that is Vegas Golden Knights themed.
Vegas-born bar and grill at the Harry Reid International Airport.
My God.
Down at the D gates, and it's awesome. Great pictures, and I found myself on the wall doing the expansion draft, hosting the expansion draft way back when. I'm very small in the picture, but that was kind of cool. And then
Very
there
big
was some
with personality,
dignitaries,
though.
big dignitaries there, big personalities, and it was it's hockey themed with the words on the menu, and it's pretty cool. I will say this though. I don't know how a Gila monster got through security because the mascot was there.
Uh-huh.
So that was interesting. We took the back way in because we had a bus because there were so many people going in from BGK.
Ooh,
that
dignitaries.
we got an escort in, and we didn't have to go through the regular like park and then go through security. So we drove across the tarmac in a bus.
Oh.
That's new to me. I've taken charters before, but usually the plane's right beside where you drive in. You park there and you get off and you go in. We drove across runways to get in. And I thought, wonder what Sharples would think about our bus trucking along.
Can I answer this first, Jeff?
Yeah.
I've done that a lot because usually no frills airlines don't get to use gates. They borrow gates, so they bus you from someplace else.
Yeah.
They race planes that are taking off and get you over to a gate that doesn't exist.
I've done that, but I've never come from the outside and then bust across runways
Oh.
and then parked.
So you
Because
broke
we traveled from in Summerlin out to the airport, and then we had the ribbon cutting. So this is cool. I
That's
said
doors.
big scissors for the ribbon cutting for the Vegas-born bar and grill. I asked somebody, how do you get those scissors through security?
God.
I don't know whether I'm supposed to. Can I answer this or?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? Because as soon as this hits out, they're going to close down the whole wing for security breach at Harry Reid. So you might as well keep going now. Anybody that's flying out of Vegas the rest of the day,
Well,
they
you
can
can't
thank
get
you if their flight's delayed.
you
A Gila
can't get
monster just cut the wings off a plane.
you can't take the scissors through security. TSA is not allowing that.
No.
So a person has an office in there and they Amazoned it there.
Oh.
And then they open it up and it's there.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's
I thought
mailed
they were
in
less than
and
3
then they
ounces.
can open it, which is legal, but they couldn't take the scissors through security, which was neat. They're like prop scissors, big, huge scissors for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Not like
Dull. They're
put
dull.
it in the overhead bin. Yeah. But it cut the ribbon.
Yeah, but the ribbon's not that, like, it's not really tough ribbon, is it?
I don't know. I didn't think so, but they cut it twice.
It's not the kind of
photographers
ribbon
were-
that they'd have up in Alaska if they were doing a ribbon cutting up there. Hey, Mallard.
Were
have
you in
how many
Alaska? Is
ribbon-
that why you're bringing that up?
No, we'll get there. We're going to
Not
just
that
talk about
nicely.
your thing first. 2 questions. First
What's
of all,
on the menu?
yeah, no. Did you go sign your photo so everyone knows it's you?
No, but I put a big Post-it note above it and said, Daren Millard and an arrow. It was a red Post-it note too, so it would pop.
Yeah, no, it
And you
should.
cut it into an arrow with those giant scissors.
I want to make some origami.
Yeah. Who was there? Any players there?
Nope, they were on the ice actually at that time.
So
a lot of
just-
guys back. A lot of guys. Almost everybody is back.
Hold on. Is this them skating on their own, or is this sanctioned skating?
Skating on their own.
Skating on their own.
Somebody's running the practice, but no coaches out there.
Who runs the practice?
Local hockey person, like a person that knows the game well enough. I'm not going to say their name, but knows the game well enough and can run some drills. Knows
Kind of
the
stumped
drills.
him there. a
Gary
little bit.
Lawless. The name is
Gary's out
Lawless.
there.
Yeah, it's not Gary.
Okay.
Hey,
That I can guarantee. But Sharples could do it. Brian Salcido has run those practices in the past. Former professional player, part of the VGK HSK Minor Hockey Association. So there's
good guy, Brian.
Sharples could totally do it, but he's too busy in Alaska.
So let people know that are listening to this podcast, which is called Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian and sometimes Daren. The teams are starting to come back to their towns and starting to practice on their own, but sanction wise, they don't have to be there until when?
Till training camp starts.
Which is
So
when?
Rookie camp starts a week tomorrow for Vegas, and then main camp starts the week after. So we're 2.5 weeks away
2.5
from
weeks
main
away
camp.
from people.
But most guys are back. Guys with kids in school. School starts early in Nevada. They're back in August, early August. So they've been skating a while, 8 or 9 of them. And then most guys come back start of September because the guys that don't have places, their rents start. So they might as well come back and live in their places if they're going to rent it for the month. And the rest of the guys kind of filter in.
I love that.
They're all ready to go.
I seen that Scott Wedgwood is Wedgwood's on his way to Nashville.
Yeah.
And he was ghosted. He was ghosted by his first moving company and had to hire a second moving company. How awesome is that?
Happens a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
No
Where
way.
moving
got a better-
companies just disappear.
it was the same company. They just jacked the price on them. Oh, you want
Yeah.
that stuff moved now? No problem.
Yeah.
It's
Mo-
double.
Moving
You
guys
guys
are
know the Canadian
Wow.
like Fifth Estate or W5? I can't remember which one it was, but they did a big investigative report on moving companies because they would they would pack your stuff, they would move it over to the new place, and then they would say, "It's going to be a couple of grand more for us to unload it if you want your stuff
No
back."
way.
Yeah, and it was nasty.
Hey, so if you were to compare the Fifth Estate and W5, which one would be more comparable to 60 Minutes? Because 60 Minutes is kind of really hard hitting,
Estate.
in depth.
Mhm.
And if I remember, I want to lean towards the Fifth Estate, but I don't know.
For people that aren't from Canada, we have 2 news shows up there, and they both have the number 5 in them. Fifth, and 35.
And I will admit, I don't think I noticed that until this conversation. I don't think I realized that.
As soon as you said it, I was like, Oh, it's so Canadian. That's
Yeah.
that's the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and the other Rough Riders right there. We got Rough Riders.
It's like
We
60 Minutes and Dateline 60.
yeah, the 60th Dateline.
Well, Dateline just does murders now.
Oh, it's the best. That's what
Like
puts
that's
my wife
all
to
they
sleep.
do. Is
It's what puts my wife to sleep. If I
that with
need-
Keith Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, Canadian.
Yeah. She thought she was going for dinner, but would dinner be her last?
He's got the greatest delivery.
Oh, it's so good. He just, can you imagine just being someplace and you overhear that voice? You're like, somebody's about to get murdered.
Yeah. I would like him to do my voicemail greeting,
That's funny.
and nobody would leave a message ever
If
because they'd be
this
afraid.
police, you're gonna need to contact his lawyer. Oh my goodness. You know, what was crazy was that he was Matthew Perry's stepfather.
Yes.
That was like, oh my God, how Canadian's that? We got one actor down here that did well. Keith, you take care of him.
We have lots of actors, especially funny actors.
Six of them. Actually, five. W5. We have W5.
W5 and one comedian.
And
You're topped out.
Hey, but Keith Morrison, the way he talks, he almost puts you to sleep, like just lulls you into that, that you're nice and relaxed, and then he'll hit you with
murder.
something. Yeah. And then then all of a sudden, murder happens. But
so many of us try to sound like a broadcaster when we're delivering a line.
Yeah.
And Keith sounds like he's in the kitchen cutting potatoes while he's doing it.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it happened? Like that's all. He's kind of like that guy. Yeah. Yeah. You know why people love those shows so much is because they work all day and nothing really gets finished. But you can watch those shows and disarray gets tied up in 60 minutes and people feel complete after watching it. It's not that they enjoy murder. They love the satisfaction of something being like solved. Just let you know. I learned that because I used to
very deep. Who told you that?
I was on a murder podcast. I did the after show for, I can't remember them. I did 12 of them, right? And then we got canceled. But I was so happy because I used to have to listen to all these murder stories and come up with funny stuff about murder. It was horrific.
Come on.
I'm
That's
serious.
easy. No, it's easy making fun of those shows.
It is easy making fun of it, but having to listen to all the details of murder, and I couldn't not listen to them. I had to listen to them all, so I had the facts, and then
some of them I'm like, I know who did it. He did it. What are they going to do for 58 minutes? How are they going to keep this up for 58 minutes? Because that's the most obvious murder ever.
And then it turns out he was dressed like a clown
and having 3 affairs.
Yeah, those are my favorites. Those are my favorites. Their marriage was perfect, other than the babysitter. And then they show an 18-year-old girl walk in with the tightest shorts ever.
What are you cleaning?
I'm cleaning the counter because I decided that I was going to change batteries on a light bulb and they were all rusted out and leaked all over the place. So I was like, oh, instead of hurting myself with acid, I thought I'd clean it up.
One guy's eating, the other guy's cleaning with Clorox
wipes. If the rust doesn't bleach or get you, the bleach will. It's a good idea.
By the way, that's our new sponsor. Brought to you, Orange Slices brought to you by Clorox. If you spill your oranges when cutting them, Clorox, it'll get the orange juice right out of your counter. Clorox, proud sponsor of Enjoying Orange Slices.
You were changing lights and they were rusted?
These kind, these kind that go underneath your counter.
No, I'm not that fancy. I'm not that.
He does live down by the ocean, so there's a possibility of rust there.
Everything out. It absolutely rusts everything out. Like if you don't change them within a day, they're rusty. Sorry, I did it at the wrong time and I've upset Millard.
No, I'm happy you were able to do that because last time I talked to you guys, you had to call somebody in to change the tire.
We're so happy that puts a smile on your face. Don't worry, we're still carrying that tire with us. We'll carry that tire for quite a while.
I like the way we're having a good time, and then you just decided, hey, you guys need to kick in the nuts.
Yeah. Especially after we had to wait 15 minutes for you, and then you come on and take us down.
It was supposed to be at 3:30, and then it was 345. I was on at
changed-
347.
It changed a lot of times today, and I apologize to everybody that this is supposed to be out on Wednesday and it's coming out on Thursday. And I know a couple people that complain, but you know, we have loyal, enjoying Orange Slices fans that want to know about travel, murder, and hockey.
Yeah. Hey, so Mallard, the guy, how long? Just
Hey,
to get
so-
back. No, I just want to finish this up because people actually might care about this.
Whatever. What's that?
How long would the
Hey, so-
practice go for on a given day? 45 minutes to an hour, or would they push a little longer?
Oh, the skates, the summer skates, the skill
Yeah.
skates. No, they're pushing 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Way longer than a regular practice. A
So
lot longer.
it's
than a
more
regular
conditioning?
practice.
Is it more conditioning than?
Yeah. Touches and not skating laps, none of that, but every drill has a fitness component to it.
Oh.
And then you usually wrap it up with a little cross ice 3-on-3. And when I was skating for a couple of weeks, those games were rather lopsided towards the other guy.
Yeah, the guy was taking a lot of shots to the head. Meanwhile,
No,
you
no.
were stopping the pucks with the equipment.
No, I was losing every game.
Really?
Well,
What
the
the-
other guy's a pro.
Who had the hardest shots?
You know who has a sneaky hard shot, heavy shot? Ivan Barbashev.
Really?
Like that's one that just hits you.
And
Sharples
is it
has a
higher-
really quick
higher
shot.
or low?
Most of them shoot low.
Yeah.
Most of them,
Oh,
but
it's all
unless they-
leg, all leg.
and
moves.
I like it when they come by and they whiz one by your ear by accident, and they're like, "Sorry, that's on me." I'm like, "Well, I didn't do anything,
That's
so
right.
it wasn't my fault."
I
But
didn't raise the net.
Sharples has a great shot to this day. We skated yesterday, and sometimes he'll run through a drill for the kids and come down, and I never really know whether he's going to rip it or not. But I try to get ready because he's got just a zipper that goes whistles by you.
Oh,
It's
that's
really
very
good,
nice.
and that's in all seriousness. Sharples has an NHL caliber shot today.
It's very kind of you.
Impressive.
Yeah, very kind. Now, I don't ever shoot high on you either.
No,
No, which is kind of unfair.
usually
'cause-
blocker side, low blocker.
Yeah,
That
I try to
was-
keep
that
it
was a
down.
report
Then
on
I
Jeff.
think, well, I don't want Mallard to have to go on the butterfly because he might not get back up. So it's kind of a conundrum when I come down and shoot on you. So that's
I
why
never
it
know whether
usually-
he's going to shoot either, and then he'll rip one. I'm like, well, I didn't know you were shooting, and meanwhile he's walking around like a peacock out there, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
let me know whether you're going to shoot or not.
Let me get this straight.
does he get
You're
that disgusted
standing in
look
the
on his face?
goal and you're surprised that the puck's coming at you. Like you sound like Flats. Like Flats is like, how long do you want me to stop that? I wasn't ready for it. I'm like, well, you've been standing in the goal for 45 minutes. There's a good chance the puck is good. When someone starts skating towards you, they're going to shoot it at you.
But you
like-
feel like a turd if you're just standing there and you're ready, and the person just wheels around without shooting it. So I'm trying to protect being a little cool out there. My
Okay,
cool
well, I'll
factor.
tell you what, we'll have a little signal from now on.
Yeah, and I like it when
I'm
you
gonna
shoot.
it. When I'm
My-
going to shoot it.
Every time
What?
you get the puck, I want you to shoot because it's such a great shot. I'm like, this is going to be great.
Well, but you know what? It's not about me out there. It's about the kids. So I don't want to be like, I
Oh
just
my
want to
God.
show them what we want to do and move on. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll give it the old beaver
That's your
tap.
first mistake.
I'll-
being
Okay,
all about
I'll
the
put
kids.
I'll slap my stick on the ice and then I'll rip it at you.
Then you'll break that. Whose stick were you using yesterday?
You know whose stick I have
What
is
pattern was it?
I think it's Valeno from
Yes. Yeah.
I got a gift years ago. It's about
Yeah.
4 years old now. I love it. It's the best stick. So here's something that people might or might not care about. Years ago, it was like the higher the flex, the stiffer the flex, the better it was, right? As we came out of wood sticks into aluminum, now into composite. Well, now that's not the case anymore. The players today, I don't know of too many of them, but very few of them would want a really stiff flex. And I'll tell you what, like I heard Ovi's like really, really low flex, and it's so nice on the elderly gentleman's hands to have some flex in that stick now. Because Gage Quinney, I was using Gage's stick, and Gage could absolutely rip it. And I was like, I thought it was going to break my wrist every time I shot it. So I gave that stick to Randy when he came out, and I took my stick back.
That's
Randy M.
Randy, yeah.
Are we allowed
good-
to identify him, or he just goes
Yeah.
by Randy?
Randy's Pro Shop. People know who that is.
Yeah.
So
Social
yeah.
security number 579-286. By the way, new t-shirt will be out next week. Chances are if somebody's skating at you, they're going to shoot on you.
I'm telling you, he doesn't always shoot. And then I feel like a loser getting into the crouch. I'm like, well, that was a waste of time.
I've given up on feeling cool when you get on the ice with Jeff. You're just going to come off feeling like a douche.
Well, he doesn't include you. He just lets you skate around by yourself. He won't even include you in the drills.
He just sends me to the other end.
Yeah.
Go, go, you disgust me.
Okay, enough's enough about
That's
that.
true though. You just you work with the kids and you don't even let Lord Bagg pass the pucks back and forth.
True.
Well, I'm allowed to pass the pucks back and forth, but I will make a mistake and he'll skate over and just roll his eyes at me. You disgust me.
I like how you guys are trying to take me down right now, but I wasn't
You're
the
downtown
guy.
in Chinatown, my friend.
Yeah,
That's taking
exactly.
you down.
I wasn't the guy that was almost so far away from us. The last time we were out, he was almost skating in the lobby.
Just
Like
trying to
that's
find my
when
edges.
Lord Bagg.
Just trying to find my edges. There's no need to be.
Oh, there it is. So now, he's just trying to find them. You're like, you too. I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
No. The hardest, most stiff stick that I know of anybody using in Vegas is 100. And that
Who's using
person went
100?
down. They went down from a 110 down to 100. Most other people are in double digits. The lowest I've heard in the National Hockey League was a 65, like a kid stick. 65.
Who's using
points.
that? And how do you accept a pass without it bending?
Skilled player. He was a skilled player.
Hey, I thought Ovi was
Like
in the 70s for
2.4.
flex.
I don't know what OB is.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to be one strong man, and those guys are all strong. But you got to be a strong individual to be able to rip it with 100 or 110. That I guess that's more. They call it, a young person's game. That's what I would say. It's pretty amazing though now that all these pros are in the, like you say, in the double digits. I'm guessing what a lot of them are 80, 85 flex, something like
85
that.
for Ovi.
85 for Ovi, and he's just a moose, right? The guy's built like a brick outhouse, right?
Like an avocado. He's built like an avocado. Upside down avocado.
Hey, did you see the video of him playing? When you
Pickleball?
guys send that playing soccer?
Soccer.
Oh,
That
was
was
it
a great-
soccer? I thought it was pickleball.
No,
No,
you gotta
soccer.
Google Ovi playing soccer.
I
It's
saw
just
a
a trail of
pickleball one where
destruction.
he was working his butt off in the beach, and he was sweating. What was the soccer one?
Soccer one's probably from about 3 or 4 years ago. And he's the size of 3 soccer players put together. Right. And he scores. He takes off with the ball and he scores, and he's just pushing them out of the way, right? Just basically Heisman them out of the way, just pushing them out of the way, just lining them up and pushing them all out of the way, and then boots the ball through the goalie. It's pretty
Really?
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's some stick flexes for you.
Okay.
Connor McDavid. Take a guess.
Uh,
8.
Do we got to go up in increments of 5, or can we get?
No, I
what
think he's
are-
going to be still around the same as Ovechkin.
He's going to be McDavid's going to be around 80.
85.
Okay.
Draisaitl is 96 or 90.
I was going to
90.
say, because he gets that one timer coming across, and there's a big strong man right there. So,
Also he's German, so you knew he'd be a 9.
Pasternak and Kucherov 77. Jason Robertson, Dallas Stars 100.
wow.
He's the youngest at all of these guys, right?
Yeah.
So
Mitch
he-
Marner 80. Jack Hughes 77.
So are you saying the younger guys are going to be higher?
I would think the younger guys would be lower. Stamkos is 95.
How about Eichel?
Malkin is 115. Nah, that's wildly high.
He
That
might as
would
well
hurt.
just go grab an old wood stick if he's going to be 115.
The aluminum thing. Lowest is 77 that I can see on this list.
Okay, well, how about Jack Eichel? What's Jack? He's got to be between 85 and 90, I'm guessing.
Let me see if I can find Jack Eichel.
It's going to be less than that.
Cannot see. Jack is
He-
not on this list.
Really? Because I
Is
mean,
he
he
not
can.
selling a stick? Is he not selling? Well, he's got to be selling.
William Nylander, 77. Zach Hyman, 82.
82.
That's an interesting number to go with.
Hey, you
Yeah.
think of that flex. These guys are all in tip-top shape. That's a lot of flex for a strong individual, but it just goes to show you. I mean, they all wing it now. Like it just comes flying off that stick with all that whip. That's probably why they break them so much too, though. You don't see Draisaitl break a stick very often, or
No.
Malkin, right?
That's true.
Malkin's skating around with a stick that he got for 1,000 points.
The silver stick with all the names engraved on it. That's pretty good. That thing might be more flexible than the 115 that he uses.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's crazy.
Let me see if I can find Jack's stick flex. I will say I was talking to a player who said that he could feel the difference between, so the sticks are skinned, one brand or another brand, but it might be the same stick. It's just whatever the manufacturer wants to send it at. And one paint job felt bigger to the player than the other one. And he had to adjust because on one stick, the thinner stick, it would go higher or lower with a shot compared to the paint job that made it feel bigger. That's how in tune they are with the sticks.
Is that also how much paint they're putting on those things?
I would guess so, but I wouldn't think that
That's a lot of
there would be
paint.
a lot of difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I just thought it was wild that somebody could grab a stick and they, through hockey gloves, could tell that it was a thicker stick.
well, just the last time that we all were part of being able to go look at sticks together, how many sticks do you think the average NHL player has in the stick room for themselves? 2 dozen, 3 dozen, like maybe more? What would you say on average?
Those bags were like 3 dozen.
3 dozen, right? So you have 36 sticks of the,
And what month was that? That was March, right? So he's probably already gone through at least a dozen.
I would say that they try to have that much stock on standby.
At all times.
Yeah.
But for everybody, right? Because
I don't know.
you got guys that aren't.
I know some guys that have like massive amount of sticks, but I think they're the exception than the guys that don't have any.
well, you got to think about how
Some guys, it's their business, right? It's all their business is those sticks is all.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And some guys are gonna have more blades for their skates because that's their business is skating, right? So it's all gonna be about what your specialty is. Anybody listening to the show right now wondering what this show is about? It's about hockey, but we're talking about sticks. And how many guys have them on hand? How many sticks guys have on hand?
Well, but you got to remember, depending on where
3.
you are in
I
the
have 3
pecking
sticks
order,
at home.
how many sticks do we have? We got about 1,000 in the garage, but I don't think half of them are usable. But I remember, and Mallard, you could probably figure, you're in the room more these days. I remember when sticks used to come in, guys would take them, flex them, and it would either go yay or nay. They give it one flex. That's it. And
But
so
that's
like
still
with the
going on,
paint
right?
and the rest of it, you got to feel good about, what you're skating around out there with. So millions of dollars on the line every night in the NHL. So you know what? That stick doesn't feel right. You're going to find one that does. And
What's the most particular specific piece of equipment the players use? Is it sticks or skates?
Skates.
I think you can find skates pretty quickly because it's molded to your foot now, right? They've got all the top, and everything. Those blades slip in and out. If you don't like the blade or the sharpening, you just go and, lift them out and put the other blades in. I think the stick is the one that can affect the player's psyche the most.
I think you're right in a certain way. I think if they don't make that stick anymore, I think that it can affect a guy's brain. But
Yeah.
I think I think skates guys want specific, cut on their blades and everything like beforehand. So I think they'd be more in tune with the skates every game, right? Because you probably just go through the sticks once and pick them all out, all the sticks you want. Whereas skates, your sharpening is different some guys every period, right?
You get them done every period. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'd be more specific.
I think the stick is. I'd be interested to ask someone who played today what they thought, but
What were you?
I would go with the stick over the skate.
You were more
I
particular
would
about
say,
your stick?
yeah. Well, here's the thing about the stick. Like the skate, they're so much better now at getting them fitted to your foot. Okay, so they're on there. Okay, you might not like the way it was sharpened, so you can just snap on, snap off, right? Those blades. But if your lie of your stick, which is how your stick sits on the ice, the blade of the stick sits on the ice. If that's off just a bit, I know those sticks are all coming out and they're supposed to be identical, but no stick is identical, right? It's just like everything else in life. And I think if you don't like the feel of it, the weight of it, or the way the lie of the stick is, I think that has way more effect on how a player thinks about things during the game because they're all such good skaters. They're all such good athletes. They'll figure it out with the blades on their skates, on their feet, or the skates on their feet. I don't think that's near as big and definitely not in their head as much as a stick can be in your head. Do I have the right stick? Is it taped right? Do I have the right lie? Why did I flub that pass? There's a lot.
That's more so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what do
you miss a chance, you're switching sticks.
100%. Or
You've sold me on it. You've sold me on it. You got me.
Except I think people would be surprised at how many players do have difficulty either fitting a skate. They get a little skate bite in a certain model. They love that brand, but it just doesn't work. I know of a couple of players that have had that issue, and I know of one player who used Easton way back when, and he would look down at face-off. He used Easton gloves, sticks, when Synergies first came out, and skates. And he had to switch from the Easton skates because when he leaned on his stick, he was a winger, leaned on a stick for a face-off and looked down, he thought his feet looked fat. And he couldn't get over that. And he eventually gave up the endorsement deal to use another brand of skates because the psychological factor was impeding his game.
Way to concentrate on the game.
Isn't that funny though?
Is he looking at his feet?
This was a National Hockey League player.
Did my feet look fat in these?
Yeah. He just couldn't get over the fact that he looked down and that's all he was thinking about instead of the drop of the puck.
I wonder if he got chirped at some point and that stuck in his head. Like, I wonder if you go back to it, somebody said, "Hey, fat feet," or something like that.
I'm not going to tell you the player's name. I wouldn't have chirped him.
Oh man, Reeves.
No, I said I wasn't going to tell you his name. But
let's just keep going. Go ahead, Jeff. Your turn.
No, I you know what? I think the stick and the skates are huge. Like you have to feel it, that you can move your feet, or not everybody skates like McDavid or McKinnon or Makar or Eichel, but you know what? A lot of those guys, they're quick. He's not fast, but he sure is quick. And part of that is looking down and feeling good about it's like the tires on your car. You want the best tires you can put on that car. So you're feeling good about them. Your car looks good. You feel good. There's a lot of, in professional sports, there's a lot of vanity that, and in life that we kind of want to just kind of push off like to the side, but people want to look good when they're out there. And if they don't feel that
Hockey's
they
got
look
more
good,
equipment than any other sport though.
yeah,
right?
but I mean, yeah, they
Especially
all look
goaltenders.
similar, but some guys tuck their sweater in, some guys roll their sleeves up, on their jersey. There's a bunch of different things that are going on, but a lot of it is if they feel that it's helping them play better or be a better player, and if you look down at your skates and you hate them. And what I thought of when Mallard said that is, remember Ian, you'll remember this. Remember the old Lang skates?
Oh yeah.
Love the Langs.
Right.
Squeaky
Langs.
skates.
Langs or microns. I
Ski
agree.
Yeah,
boots.
my-
Ski boots.
Yeah, they were but they were extremely comfortable, but you didn't look like you were the most fleet of foot when you were out there in them. They looked like ski boots, right? And so I think part of their
Who's-
problem was
Who wore them in the NHL? Somebody wore them in the NHL.
did Jerry Korab wear them? Korab, I'm just throwing that name out there.
Did Larry Robinson wear them for a couple years too?
I don't think Larry wore them. I saw Larry this summer.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. Like looks like $1 million. Saw him at the Boys and Girls Club event in Prince Edward Island. He comes
He's
every
too
year.
old for that. He doesn't need to be in that.
The Big Bird.
Goalie skates. Bauer is now making a similar skate to the old Micron and Langs. It's
Yes.
like a ski boot
We
with a
talked to
liner
Wedgwood about that.
inside, and
We talked to Wedgwood.
it buckles up. There's no laces on it. It's got a ski buckle, so you can get. When they first came out, guys loved it because you could get your skates on in 2 seconds.
Right. Show up to the game late.
And it's probably middle of the road how well it's done, but I think it's a really great invention.
I agree. I think-
Jack Eichel's they no official flex on it, but they believe it's a 95 is the closest I can find on Jack.
Really?
Was that higher than you thought?
Yeah, I thought he'd be. But the way he slings, like he's got a hell of a wrist shot, and as you know, and it's the way he releases it so quickly. I would think a little bit less flex would help him get that puck away. Kind of shows you how strong he is, that he can get. When you have a really stiff hockey stick, that just goes to show you, the guy's obviously an elite talent, but also really strong.
Lord Bagg,
Yeah.
I want to officially apologize to you.
Okay.
I just found an ad for Micron skates with Larry Robinson.
Good
So
night.
you owned it. You were absolutely right.
Yeah. You know what? Remember wasn't there a hockey player named Lang too? And I was always confused that he didn't wear Langs.
Robert Lang.
Yeah, he should have had the half the company.
I think he came after those.
Yeah, I played against him. Good centerman. I think he played in LA for a while. Right-handed centerman, and if not mistaken, he might be Czech, but he was kind of remind me a little bit of Kempe but Kempe's a left-handed shot. Robert Lang was a right-handed shot. Pretty good player, good skater, big rangy guy.
He was fast. Lang
Yeah.
was fast.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good player. He played for quite a while, I think. Once he got I played against him in the minors, but once he got to the show, he had a pretty good career. Unless Mallard's going to shoot me down, but he's looking it up.
Agree.
You're like our stats guy.
You're
today.
getting in front of this right
Hold on
now.
a second.
I
Lou, just
like
sit down. Not everybody needs to hear you walking, buddy. Sorry.
they were squeaky skates. Kevin Lowe also used Micron.
Yeah, you can never sneak up on anybody in those.
No,
No, there was no sneaky play.
You know,
they
I
had that
think,
little hinge on them.
hey, but the thing about Kevin Lowe blocked a lot of shots, and he was kind of the start of the shot blocker. And having that plastic boot on your foot versus the leather skate probably saved him many injuries. Although, I'm sure he was black and blue. His legs were black and blue all the time. But Kevin Lowe, kind of the start of the shot blocking defenseman.
And the best GM ever.
Didn't he and Brian Burke almost scrap
Yeah.
over an offer sheet?
Dustin Penner, right?
Yeah.
Dustin Penner put his back out one time eating pancakes.
Yeah. With powdered sugar on top that he didn't.
Did you just look that up on Google, or did you
No,
Google
I
that? Dustin
remember that
Penner and pancakes, or what?
No, that would have been a fast Google for me. I would still be on the Goog before I could type it in.
be on the Google?
Hey, so Mallard, let me ask you this. We talked about it the other day.
It's most
but,
we've ever talked hockey today.
yeah, well, yeah,
That I've talked.
I do
with
have
you
a
guys.
question about hockey. When do you think, in today's day and age, when do you think a good time for a player, let's say we take the kids out of it, because when the kids go to school, players have to get back to town. But let's just say you're a guy that's single and or married, no kids. When do you feel a good time to come in? Training camp, let's say September 20th. When do you feel a good time to be in with the team you're trying to make, or the team you're a part of? Is I'll throw that to you too, Lord Bagg. How far in advance should you be around the rink?
I'll
in
answer.
your,
I'll answer sooner than later.
Did you
All
hit the
right.
buzzer?
Yeah. I think the more time you can spend in the town that you're going to be in before you and break away from your summer mindset is better. And I would say that's even good if you're going to go work on a movie, just getting there and getting comfortable. So you're not, so your trip to the rink, so your people around you, so your grocery store you're going to, everything like that. I think you got to treat it like it's your job. So you should treat that as part of the career. The longer, I don't know. There we go. I'm done.
No, but you didn't give us an answer.
Yeah,
A
I
time.
would a time for I'd say the longer the better. So I'd say a month before.
okay, Mallard.
I'd go 3 weeks.
September
Depends.
September 1st at the latest.
Yeah.
Right?
I think rolling in Labor Day weekend, September 1st, and you're ready to go. You get a couple of weeks. No, it's not going to hurt you if you're at the end of August and you sort of beat the rush of influx of players that are returning. I don't think that's a bad thing either. I also believe that it has some bearing on whether you're new to the organization, whether you are a tweener, a guy that's up and coming and has played a couple of games, or whether or not you're like just a grade A prospect. It kind of has there's some floating consequences there that will influence it. But I would say late August would be perfect. You're not going to make a mistake there.
No, I agree. I think the reason I asked is because looking back, like in part of it is where you were in the country. Like when I grew up in British Columbia, I was in Detroit's organization. Looking back, I'm like, hey, maybe I should have been out there a little earlier. Times have changed. A lot of guys didn't put on their skates until the week before. They'd come to training camp to get in shape. That's not the case anymore. But I was struck this summer. A friend of mine's son was down skating with the Kings in the Toyota Center in LA, and Doughty was out skating around. Edmondson was there. I follow obviously with Winnipeg now, but the fact that
But those
Doughty
guys
was
live there too.
I know, but the fact that Doughty was out skating in July like 23rd, but Edmondson being there, who's new to the team, and that's not to say he wasn't skating for a week or two and then gone and came back. But I think that what Lord Bagg was saying, especially now with all the money that's on the table and the way this business is run, getting in and getting ahead of it, having your equipment, getting to know the trainers. If you're new to the team, just your route. Hey, I'd like to go here for coffee or whatever it is. Just kind of get acclimatized to the situation that you're going to be embarking on. I think is huge. And you brought up a couple of young players' names to me today that are in town with the Golden Knights, and I was really happy to hear that they were here, because I think it's so important, like you said, when you're embarking in, a prospect and trying to cut your teeth, get around these guys that have been around a long time. Like you think if you ask people, hey, you could go skate with Drew Doughty, but he's going to be July 23rd. I mean, guys would be flocking to go do that and be like, holy cow, this guy, I know he lives there, but this training camp isn't going to start for 2 months. And some of these other guys are in. So I like it too. I would be third week of August. I think a month in advance would be great. And if you live in the city, well, then you can skate with them all summer.
Here's the thing that has a bit of play in the whole situation is the American Hockey League team in the same city. So in Vegas, it's easy because you're either going to play for Henderson or you're going to play for Vegas. You've got your place rented for the year. You can move in. you can get settled in, you're ready to go. But if your American Hockey League team is Chicago and your NHL team is Carolina, where do you go for early? Do you just get a hotel for the first 3 weeks before camp? Like there's a money factor to it. And that's, if you're a tweener, money's a big thing. Like there's a big influence on decisions there.
There's logistical
I would-
nightmare. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was a tweener, I would concentrate on doing both for future jobs. Like your hockey career is a very minute part of your life, right? So
But
if
you gotta save money.
but I know, but you got to save money. But at the same time, if you spend money, you make money. So you go in and make relationships in Chicago. You go in and then a week later, you go and make the relationships in Carolina, because who knows where those people are going to be, right?
Yeah.
And who knows what your job is going to be after hockey, and who the relationships you are making now. Like something that I've learned over my career is how much those relationships mean into you getting other things.
If you're from London, Ontario, do you stay and skate with the guys around the London area for as long as you can before you go to
I
your
think you do as long as
NHL city?
No, I
Because
think
you can save money by just being at home.
Yeah,
No.
but here's the other side of it. You bring up a good point. So you're like, okay, we're like, hey, we'd like to, like, I'd like to see the young kids get in, but it could also throw off their training. Like these guys, they're not under any misconception about what's going on anymore. They have access to the best training, and maybe they can skate with NHL guys every day, and their off ice trainer is in London or Toronto or Vancouver or Denver or wherever it is. But one of the other things to consider is if you're an in between and you're on the bubble, is I would like to get in sooner. So maybe you came in and skated, you spent some money and you skated with, whoever, the Knights or the Avs or the Kings. You came in for a week or two in July and skated, got your gear, got a lay of the land, then went back for 4 weeks to where you were and skated, had a really good pro skate there. Like if you're a star and you're established, there's no big deal. It's all right there for you. But as somebody that's trying to find their way into the league, these are some things that could really have a big impact on your training camp and the start of your season. And I just kind of think just getting acclimated, even if you're not going to play for the Vegas Golden Knights, I know you may be playing Henderson, just come in and see what's going on, because as the more pro guys come into town that are Vegas Knights or Golden Knights or Kings, the skate's going to get harder and harder to become a part of, because they're not going to want to have 35 guys out there, right?
No,
and
yeah,
so
there's a cutoff.
Yeah, you're going to get pushed out if you're not one of the guys. That's just the way it is. So, yeah.
You talking to me about getting pushed out?
Nah, you're one of the guys.
You're one of the guys. You don't like to admit it, but you've got more access. You've got more access than Hard Knocks does.
Hey, speaking of Hard Knocks, is Amazon doing a Hard Knocks style thing on the NHL this year for preseason?
They did several features last year.
But they're not doing a preseason?
They're running them at the start of this year.
Hey, Mallard.
They followed Jack around. They did it behind the scenes with Jack Eichel, I know. And I'm looking forward to airing that. And they did that with 7 or 8 guys.
This summer?
Last year, during last season.
Year. Hey, when is Amazon's going to do 1 game a week, right? Or
Mondays.
are they doing multiple?
Mondays in Canada. They took over the Monday night package from Rogers.
Okay, they're teamed up with Rogers.
So no, they bought it from Rogers.
Oh, they bought it. So we're going to see McDavid on a lot of Monday night games, and Matthews. Expect to see Edmonton and Toronto play a lot of Monday nights.
Yeah. Actually, I asked them about that, and they said there's a lot of demand for Toronto. It'll be a weighted schedule towards the east because that's where eyeballs are. And whether you like to admit it or not, it's a reality. But you'll see Edmonton. I will say this: Edmonton is on U.S. national television, ESPN and TNT, a ton this year. Maxed out for a Canadian team. You're allowed to have 13 games, each NHL team on U.S. national television, and Edmonton is at the very top. It's wild how that market for a while was really struggling in the late 90s. And now they are just they're one of the most popular teams in the NHL. It's incredible for a
Well, they
Canadian
notched
franchise.
him.
Down here, we got a little bit of a problem going on. So ESPN and DirecTV are in
Oh,
dispute,
feuding, yes.
and there's no ESPN on DirecTV right now.
Mhm. US
So-
Open is out for people that want to watch it.
Yeah, it's very. So I'm curious to see how that affects things.
Did
Like
it not happen last year as well?
No, it happened.
Like this is the second time in recent memory where DirecTV and ESPN have
No,
feuded.
ESPN last year, I think they put their stuff on their app, and it wasn't on their channel. I think that's what the problem was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you couldn't find their games. What was that called? ESPN Plus?
Yeah,
That was 2 years ago, right?
yeah.
So Edmonton was maxed out last year too, though, right, Mallard? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I was shocked how often, and I think it's good because
If
they
you're
got
an
two-
Edmonton fan,
yeah, well, I mean, you know what?
go ahead, show your true
it's the
colors.
best.
Jeff.
Well, I think it's great. The best player in the world is on US national
Yeah.
television.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, so what happens? Drysdale just resigned, but what happens if McDavid's like, "Hey, I want a little bigger piece of the pie next year," and he doesn't resign?
We had that conversation today at the office about
Oh
that.
my God, that
Yeah.
would be
Not going to
amazing.
happen, but yeah.
No, it's not. I think Connor McDavid retires an Oiler or pretty close to it.
He's in
you
a couple
know,
of years.
do you think
But,
that's
yeah.
because they're shy because of Gretzky?
No.
No, you
I
just
think Connor McDavid. I think he's driving the bus on this. I don't think Gretz really had a choice. They probably went to him and said, "Hey, Gretz, we're trading the LA," but look at what it did for the game. I mean, nothing.
does the Connor McDavid go someplace where he changes the game like Gretzky changes the game?
No.
You know what? If he goes to a place like the Big Apple, if he goes and plays for the Rangers, or he goes to the Kings, you got some pretty big stars down there already, in Kopi and Doughty. But nobody's at the level of Connor McDavid in the league. I think it's fair to say that. So wherever he goes, he's going to drive it. But if he goes to a big US TV market like the Rangers, the Blackhawks, the Kings. And you get all this. I mean, you got a lot of stars coming to see the Kings even today. But you go throw that must-see TV in there again, and you put him in a huge market. It's going to drive it through the roof.
This is the most hockey we've ever talked about.
Yeah.
Did I not just say that?
I just realized that you said that, and then I was like, wow, we're still talking about hockey.
It's an echo. But
Here,
my money's on him resigning in Edmonton.
look,
and
Wayne
good
was
for him.
27 when
Ooh,
he was traded.
Who was? Wayne?
Wayne.
Gretzky.
He was
makes-
only 27?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Connor's going to play longer in Edmonton than Wayne did.
Well, Wayne had what, 3 cups when he left Edmonton?
Wayne's not Connor's not leaving anytime soon. So in his prime, Connor's going to spend more time in Edmonton than Wayne ever did.
Hey, is Connor going to sign a bridge deal? Can you imagine re-sign him for a bridge deal, 2-year deal? People will be like, "What?"
Connor's 27 now. Got 2
Who's
years
more-
left. And
Who's more important to Edmonton, Gretzky or Connor McDavid?
Gretzky. Gretzky won.
So then it's okay to lose Connor McDavid. That wouldn't be
Oh, you want to win again? The only way you win again is
with Connor
is
McDavid.
Connor. And on the bridge deal, Austin Matthews basically did that.
Yeah.
He signed a shorter term deal, anticipating the cap's going to go up. So he's 13, whatever, and he's anticipating the cap's going to go up. It's already gone up. He's going to. I wondered,
27 too?
questioned it, and no, he's 26, I believe.
He's a year younger.
Yeah. So
Hey,
that was a brilliant business decision by Austin Matthews, and it opens up opportunities to go. Like, there's a guy. Is he in Toronto for the long haul, or does he go somewhere else? I think it's more likely Austin would end up somewhere else than Connor.
I would agree. But do you
What?
think? Hang on. Do you think?
No.
I'm going to bring Drexel in. I know. We got to mute you. Hey, do you think that Draisaitl had a little bit more pressure on him to obviously, like, if the roles were reversed, wouldn't it have been interesting to see McDavid start the season without an extension? Not Connor, like I thought Leon, even though they said, oh, they're not giving him a deal, I think Leon gave Edmonton another deal. I mean, if the
hometown
cap keeps
discount?
going up, don't you agree? Like 14, don't get me wrong, richest contract in NHL history. But Draisaitl gave Edmonton the hometown discount on the last one. And I'm not saying at 14 million he gave him one, but would you agree that the way it's going, 15 or 16 would not be out of the question? And then you could go, well, how much do you need? I get that, but
well, if you play it out, you'll know the cap projections by the time you play it out, so you'd be able to have a more educated guess on how much is available to teams. And teams would also be able to start clearing cap space for you if you're going down that path. So yeah, he could have got more on free agency, but most people would get more on free agency.
Yeah.
But now he's secure for life.
Was he even close to going someplace?
I don't think so.
They just didn't get it. They just didn't get it done. They want to get the certain things done.
Think of it in his camp. From his point of view, he gets to play with the best player in the world. He may be the second best player. You can debate who that is, the second best player. But he gets to play with the best player in the world 14 to 10 minutes a night, like together. And then he gets added ice time on top of that. That's a pretty good situation for Leon Draisaitl. As good as he is, it's fairly fortuitous for him.
It's pretty tough to say no to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to go sign with somebody else that's not as good, but has lots of cap space. He's going to make a ton of money. May never win a cup.
I'm going to Buffalo.
May never get close again. He's going to make a ton of money, but he's going to have to watch Connor on TV instead of playing the power play with him and play 12 minutes a night with him.
Well, think about it the other way. Look at just adding on to people. Rising tide lifts all boats, right? So look at Bouchard, Evan Bouchard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So whatever he's going to get in Edmonton, he's going to be the top of that power play if he's healthy for the next 5-10 years. So he could go somewhere else and make more money, or he could stay in Edmonton, be one of the top dogs, ride shotgun with Draisaitl and McDavid, and have year after year, and they're going to win way more than they're going to lose. As long as those two guys are there, they might be on the, right on the precipice of getting the cup that they so dearly, everybody so badly wants here in the next year or so.
And they want multiples. So you might be giving up multiples there.
Yeah. So, like.
How close do you think they are really?
To winning it?
Yeah.
They were at one period.
Hold on. You know what? I think, they started playing a little bit different this year as the playoffs went on. They kind of went a little bit rope-a-dope with Vancouver. Once they figured that out, like LA, they just kind of steamrolled LA and kind of won, kind of the recipe that they've been using to beat LA last couple of years. So LA's addressed that, right? LA's going to be a lot tougher to play against this year, but they went rope-a-dope with Vancouver. Vancouver had some injuries, but once they kind of got through that, they outlasted Dallas in the first game of the Western Conference Final in double overtime. And they kind of, after that, I thought they, maybe had a sleepy period or two against Florida, but probably that series could have easily been 2-1 for Edmonton versus 3-0 for Florida. But give Florida credit. I mean, they found a way and they got her done. So I don't know. I mean, you show me another team in the Western Conference or anywhere in the league that got better this year in the offseason, and you could argue Edmonton would be at the top of that list.
Do you think Draisaitl left $1.5 million, $2 million per year?
I thought he was. I mean, we're all about facts here on this show, but I thought for some reason the number 15 came into my head for him.
What was his deal?
So $18 million is where I'm looking. If it's $2 million a year, they leaves on the table. So you're around $8 million he left on the table.
Well, he's 14, yeah, cap hits 14 a year, 112 million, right? So I thought on the open market to start with, because of the way the salary cap's going, because he's going to get a percentage of whatever that cap is, right? Whatever their earmark that percentage. So yeah, I thought on the market, I thought if he held out, I thought we'd be looking at a $15+ million guy, and McDavid going, and Matthews probably in the 16 range with the way that the cap is rising.
So
I
what
might
would
be
Bouchard,
totally out to lunch on
what
that.
would Bouchard be if we're looking at $10 million a year for Bouchard? And I don't know whether that's a round number that's accurate, but just for argument's sake, if $10 million is the market, what would a hometown discount be?
8.
Or
You
20% discount?
You know, here's the thing. You have a defenseman in Edmonton already making 9.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say hometown discount 8.5. Are you going to be the same player somewhere else? You might not be, but if someone's going to give you 11 or 10 in another market over 8 years, that's something to consider. But I do believe Bouchard is really come on.
When do you
but-
make the decision on winning and taking the money though? When like if you're getting $8 million from Edmonton, and chances are Edmonton's going to win, who else is going to be out? The team that's going to be able to afford you for 11 probably isn't going to win. So what's the point?
Exactly. Well, and here's the other thing. Draisaitl moves the needle more than Bouchard does at this particular time in his career. Okay, now a right-handed shot defenseman that's 6'3", like he is, it can absolutely bomb it. Every team wants them. He can move the puck. Defensively, he's getting better, right, as he grows into the league. But if you're going to spend big bucks, you want a guy that's going to move the needle. Draisaitl would move the needle for every other team in the league. I think Bouchard would definitely improve your back end immensely wherever he would go in most cities. But is he going to really drive that needle to, as you're trying to make a push forward? Like, I look at Bouchard, I don't think there's a team that wouldn't take him. But if you look at Vegas, okay, you've got Pietrangelo, you've got Hanifin, you've got Theodore, and then you've got McNabb, Haig, Whitecloud, Korzak. Okay, so yeah, he would look really good on the right side, but is he going to really drive the needle? Or if you plugged a guy in like Draisaitl into that team, right, different position, he's going to drive it. And so that's why I think Leon's opportunity to make a little bit more on the open market might have been, like you would have had teams clamoring after him. You would have had teams going after Bouchard too, but I think he probably settles in 9 million. I don't know, 9. They're paying Nurse 9.5. So what's Bouchard worth on that team, right?
I think Bouchard's worth more in Edmonton than he is. This will sound weird, and obviously he can get more elsewhere, but I think his value to Edmonton in Edmonton is really big.
Yeah,
because of what he does to the power play and the different aspects of being able to bomb it from the point and give just a different wrinkle to it
too, right?
Yeah.
Hey, those three guys, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard, they had Tyson Barrie up there for a while. It's some different guys, but he settled in
Calgary
last year.
now.
Yeah, and Barry's going to get a PTO in Calgary, but I really like, and I agree with you. Aces in places. The best place for Evan Bouchard is in Edmonton, and he's there. So, who wouldn't want the job he has, being at the top of that power play with a guy like Hyman who's willing to stand in front of the net all day long, and then your other guy is Nugent Hopkins, or maybe interchange someone else in there once in a while.
Remember Anson Carter was playing with the Sedin twins?
Yeah.
And he was a beautiful fit and opted to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's one of those ones where, if you had to do it all over again, do you stay and ride that out in a really good situation?
No, AC's good. He's on TNT. What else do you want? Yeah, it's all worked out in the end.
He's a part owner in the new Atlanta team.
Do you think that's happening?
Atlanta? Well, it's gotta happen again because they have their TNTs in Atlanta, right? It's gotta happen, right?
I was at the All-Star game in Atlanta, the NHL All-Star game. They wouldn't play at the same rink because where they're talking about putting a team back is in the suburbs. But that rink in Atlanta was one of the coolest arenas
It was great. I
ever
went to the
built
game. It was
because
awesome.
it was all suites on one. All the suites were on one side, and the seats were at the ends and the other side of the rink. So it was this oddly shaped, weighted rink. It was the most unique design that I've ever been in.
The money listed it to the left.
Yes.
Towards the CNN building.
Towards it.
All right. Hey, I you know what? I gotta catch you two off. You're just talking way too much today. I gotta get going. I forgot. Gotta be
Where are you
somewhere.
going?
I don't want to look at the clock right now because
we've only been here when we don't usually do these late in the afternoon. We should do it every once in a while to see how far we can go. The 4-hour podcast. Usually we do it. We all have to have something to do.
Do we have to apologize to people for talking so much hockey? Because we did. We got kind of into the weeds a little bit on the game.
We do it once.
Once we got talking about hockey, I was like, okay, we'll talk about hockey. Next week, we're going to take about 2.5 hours and talk about my trip to Alaska.
Yes. Did you catch a fish?
No, I didn't go fishing.
My neighbor went fishing there and brought a cod over last week that he caught up there. It was the best fish I've ever had. And I'm not a big fish guy.
Hey, talking about fishing.
Like little fish.
No, because you just want to be a little fish in a big pond. You don't want to be that. But our boy Busky was up and caught. I'll put the picture of the salmon. He caught 35-pound salmon up off the north coast of British Columbia in Haida Up in Haida.
Where's that?
That it used to be called the Queen Charlotte Islands. Now it's Haida.
But it's got a better name now.
Actually, not now. It's back to what its original name was. So
what we do in British Columbia is we just change names every couple of years, keep everybody on their toes. That way,
weird political times in BC, by the way. Like the one party folding basically and supporting the other party before the election. That was weird.
Just giving up.
I don't know what you guys are doing up there.
All right.
Well, that's why we moved down here. Because
any shout outs? Okay, good. We're good. Shout outs. Shout it out. Cheers for fears. I shout it out.
Yeah, you got to shout. Who's going to start?
I'm going to start. The good old Commander Tom, who is the director of our team security with the Vegas Golden Knights. Good friend of the two of you. Awesome dude, former LAPD, homicide division.
Las Vegas.
Easy.
Sorry,
don't give him too much.
LVPD. Sorry.
Big.
Oh, man.
Sorry. Awesome dude. Came over. I had a leaky faucet outside.
And shot it right out.
And we went at Home Depot. We changed the whole thing. He took 3 hours of his time and didn't just fix it, but taught me how to fix it next time. Took the time to bring me along as a younger wannabe learner.
Let that be a lesson to your kids out there. If you have problems with their house, don't go to a construction worker. Go to a cop.
Tom's right into it. He was surprised that you guys were mistaken as for twins, and he was like me, trying to figure out who's happy about that and who's sour about being mistaken as twins.
I was laughing, but at that same time I was sour. I'm like, I've got a full head of hair and it's dark.
Hey, and here's the best part. Ian likes to still think he's 35, so he's the one that's taking it hard.
Oh yeah.
Tom wants to talk to you guys about that.
That's
hey, we'll get together at our local establishment in Henderson,
by
Nevada.
The way,
with him.
Super Bowl weekend, I'll be back for 3 shows.
Bragger.
Where?
At the not where I was last time. They have another club in that mall. Where's that?
Town Square. Lord Bagg is coming to Las Vegas Super Bowl weekend. Mark it on your calendars. Town Square.
We're doing
Sunset and the Las Vegas Strip, where two things meet. Look for Ian.
That's right.
Love it.
Yeah, right at the end of the runways there at Harry Reid International. Okay, you got a shout out, or are you
Right.
just gonna talk about where you're going?
I got a shout out. I got a shout. So my mom's in the hospital. So she's just been struggling with some things. But shout out to the nurses and doctors in Terrace, British Columbia, that have taken care of my mom, got her all set up. She's going to be in there for a little bit longer. Jeff's mom went and visited her yesterday and had a little talk with her, but she's all set up, struggling with a couple of infections that we thought we had worked out before, but they really got it under control this time. And she's on heroin right now. So that's cool.
Second time we brought up nurses in this podcast.
Well, for the people that don't know, nurses they're the glue of our community. Go ahead, Lord Bagg, tell everybody.
Darnell cannot check your blood pressure.
Sometimes he raises it for the fans.
You don't know. Maybe you know what, he might know how to do that. He might have taken his first aid. Hey, so yeah. Okay, we got a dog here. You're getting all fired up. A couple shout outs. I was up in Alaska last week. The Final Frontier, the Great Frontier, amazing place. But I got two shout outs. One to K2 Aviation in Talkeetna, Alaska. It's like going to the Smithsonian Institute for Aviation, walking on the field there with them. They have all these planes that a lot of them are in the Smithsonian that they fly every day, and they're unbelievable. So we shout out to them, and our pilot Sean did a great job. And then I'm also going to shout out Micah, Glacier Tours in Glacier View, Alaska. Micah, MICA. Unbelievable. We went in on choppers. We came in, we surprised them. We dropped in, did some glacier tours, and then you can also just drive up to the glacier in the Manitousca. I think it's the Manitousca Glacier. Unbelievable time. So we're going to spend about 90 minutes talking about how I got up there and all the fun with that on our next podcast. Because
you surprised the glacier when you flew in?
No, just the people on the glacier. The
Oh,
people that were there.
Did you put on the MASH soundtrack as your landing?
Hey, it was a helicopter very similar to the kind you used to see on MASH. But
I can't believe you just called their fleet old, and you did it in a way that gave them a compliment.
I'm going to tell you, that stuff flies up and down the West Coast every day. I would love to have some of the aircraft that we saw up there. DC-3 still flying every day up there. They're in the Smithsonian. You got the Grumman Goose in the Smithsonian. The Otter and the Beaver float plane in the Smithsonian. So incredible. And then
tell them that you're a pilot when you're up there. Do you go, hey, I can do this?
No, but I said to Sean, I go, hey, Sean, you mind if I sit up front with you? He goes, hey, one of you guys can sit up front with me. I go, hey, Sean, you mind if I sit up front with you? He goes, yeah, come on up. So I got up there, but there was only yoke on one side. Like I was going to save us from anything. But I'm like, so him and I, we all had headsets on. So Sean and I were just having a good old conversation with everyone in the back, had to listen. And then once in a while, Sean be like, and on your left side, there's a glacier and blah, blah, blah. I'll send some pictures. We'll post them of the trip. We'll send them into Brian so we can put them up along with Busky Salmon.
Save for next week. Save them for next week.
Okay. Do you want me to send in so she talked fish? Do you want Busky's fish this week?
Yes.
Send a picture, and also send a picture of your favorite stick, and send a picture of your biggest flex.
Do you call it a stick or a yoke?
No, he's talking about hockey stick.
Oh,
or a hockey podcast.
Sorry, a hockey podcast. Okay,
my favorite yoke's the one that pays me.
Tell us more about this Beaver float plane. Was that the one they used in Girls Gone Wild?
I thought the yokes
I threw that out there. I was like, you know what? He's going to try and deface this legend of aviation, and sure enough, you're able to do it.
Harry Ann just came out of the back room and just looked at me with disgust.
I thought Lord Bagg was all about the yokes on this podcast.
The yokes. That's a Winnipeg joke.
That's pretty good though, Mallard. Hey, and one other quick shout out to two of our favorite people that we went over today just for them. Susan and Randy were driving across the country, braving it to come back to Vegas. They've been away for a little while. So,
by the way, I'm going to re-answer your question. When's the best time to go back to your city you're playing for? When Randy and Sue leave the lake. That's when you should be at training camp.
Good point. I love my Randy.
All right.
Tom.
I
All
love
of you
yeah,
guys.
the commander, we got to give him props too.
That's nice. I love my Randy. Sue, not so much, but
I
Randy's
love Sue too. Yeah, no, I've just spent more time with Randy.
oh, as you should. Randy's the best.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Love talk.
Loved all boys.